Welcome to the hottest real estate topics on the planet, keeping you up to date with all the creative ways to buy and sell real estate without bank qualifying, so anyone can build real income starting today. Here is another great show with Dealmaker Bill and Pete the Rookie.
All right, here we are at another episode of Flipping Houses for Rookies. What are you cross-eyed for?
God help us.
Come on, Peter.
You were right on the mic, and I thought you were going to yell like you usually do. You didn't. You scared me.
Hey,
what?
I've been in microphone training.
Yeah, who's training you? Emma?
No,
Who?
actually, I come home at the end of the night, usually around 10 o'clock-ish, probably 4 or 5 nights out of the week, and my wife is watching these shows, which I can't stand, because I ban her from watching them in the same room with me. You know, The Bachelor and The Voice and all these shows that I just have no use for. Mm-hmm. They are complete time wasters, as far as I'm concerned. But she's been watching these shows, and there's one now about with the masks, you know.
Yeah, we had the unicorn unmasked last week. Yep.
And I've been watching how they use the microphone, and when they scream, they hold the microphone like three. Because you told me about that.
Yeah, it's a thing. It's a thing.
I've been observing.
Good man.
Episode number 135. We had 2 titles today. We chose the title to be Study Reveals Top 17 Reasons You Don't Have Time.
Oh, yeah? What study is that? By who?
Yeah.
Who made the study?
Me.
Okay.
The other title, just in case you're a little bit skeptical, as we talked about before, the younger generation, you could call this show 17 Common Mistakes, Hogging Time, and Making It Hard for You to Flip Houses. That's for the more conservative people. Mm-hmm. So today's podcast is going to be about this. Here's the write-up. In this podcast, you have the chance to hear the 17 most common mistakes that rob your time and cause you to work harder. Dun, 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 dun. I have found with new investors and some pros, it's not how much you do. It's how much you know. End of show.
Wait a minute. Tell us about the part of what you have to know.
Yeah.
Do that part then.
And if you'd like to know more about turning real estate into income so you can work less, then take notes today. And I never ask you to do that, but this is going to be a good one. All right. Once you get on your way towards eliminating these commonly missed mistakes, you'll naturally become smarter and work a lot less than 99% of all the investors out there. These deadly barriers are right under your nose, and you need to break away from them to be a real success and earning income from real estate. So stick with us this whole episode, and we'll get you through it.
Does that mean we can't watch The Masked Singer anymore?
You can, just don't tell me about it. Because if you got
I
time
also,
to watch The Masked Singer, you got enough time to call probably at least 5 Fizbos.
Bill, I made a deal with the wife.
Yeah.
We record it and we zoom through just the good parts.
Yeah.
And I got the zoom.
Yeah. Well, you're in entertainment, so this is like research for you. But for me, it's a waste of time.
Yeah.
I don't like it. So, however, I will say this. Hopefully my wife's not listening to this podcast.
She's upstairs behind the door.
I will say this. Just from a man's point of view. So if you think I'm being chauvinistic, don't send the tickets in, the support tickets in, because I'm going to delete them. Okay? I'm not going to listen to it.
Not taking it back.
What I have found is it's a little bit covert on my part. Instead of having to come in and I'm exhausted and having to sit down on the couch and talking to her for 15 minutes or 30 minutes, I find if I just sit there and I watch the show with her, it's satiating enough for her to get me off the hook of, I didn't talk to her today.
Oh, geez. See, we got the roles reversed. I
You
watched
had
the
no
show.
idea we were going to do relationship
man.
counseling today, huh?
I got the opposite. She doesn't talk. I have to do all the talking.
Oh.
It's reversed. So I put the show on so she'll talk to me about the show.
Oh,
She's
okay.
got the opposite problem. You know what
See?
it is? They should watch the show together, and we should go do something together.
I'm voting for that
But
one.
we live 15 miles apart.
Yeah, I'm voting for that one.
Wait till we get to the old folks home. We'll be all set.
Okay, so let's get down to business. I have this question. In fact, I didn't realize it till just now, because what did I told you earlier, kind of like what's on my mind, and then I just read the first thing we're going to cover, and they're connected. I did, obviously, duh.
Bill, you might be connected to yourself.
I might be, yeah. How to turn time into money. That's what we're going to talk about. That's what it's all about. Okay, so before I don't have any of this written down. Well, anyways, we'll come back to that, because I woke up this morning with a story in my head that I probably should reveal sometime in this podcast. I think it's related, but we'll see what happens when it's time.
There's some subliminal stuff going on with you this
Oh,
morning.
yeah.
It's all going to
Oh, yeah.
connect. At the end of the show, you're going to go, "Oh, I figured it out."
Yeah, maybe I'm trying to figure it out.
I think you are.
So
Well, good luck.
one thing that you have to realize is that I am a marketing guy. I love marketing. I study marketing as a part-time gig. So let's get Emma on the microphone for a second, because I want to prove this. Emma, why don't you get on the mic for a second? I'm giving you free reign to say whatever you please without any ramifications. How much do I like marketing?
A lot.
Why? What evidence do I have in your eyes that I really like marketing, direct marketing especially? Would you be well? Let's talk about our Amazon account.
Oh, you're talking about like the probably 24 books you've bought in the past like 2 weeks?
Yeah. So it's like every day there's a package on the front step. And how about eBay?
Oh, Jesus.
Bill, I saw the FedEx guy pull up in front of your house. I was waiting to bring you a package.
Yes.
He went next door.
You went next door. So is it fair to say, Em, that probably for 3 or 4 days out of the week I get a package on the front steps?
Yes.
I can't read it fast enough. I try, but I can't read it fast enough. Anyway, so at the end of the day, I'm a marketing guy. So we're going to start off with that, because I attribute my marketing journey to Dan Kennedy. He was one of the first, well, he's the most known marketing guru because he's got a lot of books and stuff. So he's got a book called Time Management, which you should read. I don't think it's called exactly Time Management, but it's something along that line. And he starts the book out with this. So I'm going to read it. It's not paraphrased. It's right from the book. Okay, so I'm 100% crediting Dan Kennedy for saying this. This is not me. What is entrepreneurship if not the conversation of your knowledge, talent, guts, etc., through investing of your time and money? What is entrepreneurship? I'll give that to you again. What is entrepreneurship if not the conversation of your knowledge, talent, guts, etc., through investment of your time into money?
That's good.
He is good with words.
I get it.
Right? So
I hope so.
entrepreneurs, yeah. So before we go through the time thing, I want you to understand why this is so vital to me and why it's so vital to you. Because I know that a lot of people think they need more time, but they also need more money. You ever notice that when we talk to people, especially at the meetups, it's time and money?
Oh, sure.
So ask the question, why are they connected? Because time is money. Or it's your opportunity to make money.
Is there a third part of the triangle, like knowledge or something?
Nope.
Is there something else that goes with it?
Nope. So anyways, I'm just going to go through this analogy before we go through the list of 17 things. I promise not to take a long time, but I have to do this so that when we go through the list of 17 things, it has a lot more impact. It has a lot more meaning because of what we're going to cover now, okay? So entrepreneurs, which are all of us who flip houses, we're definitely entrepreneurs. Even if we're working for somebody, we're thriving to be an entrepreneur, right? Entrepreneurs should ask the hard-hitting question, what are people willing to pay me for? Which is what I was talking about this morning. You have to ask yourself, what are people willing to pay me for? What do I have that somebody else is willing to give me their cold, hard cash? Okay? Now, I'm going to give you some examples in a minute, but I'm going to inject that story I was telling you about this morning. Okay? So here's the thing. You walk into a used car dealership, right? And the used car salesman approaches you. What is his only objective?
Sell you a car.
Why?
Needs money.
He gets paid.
He gets paid.
Okay?
He's
So
not on the clock.
why do most people not like going into a used car dealership?
Because they feel that the guy is just trying to sell you what he wants to sell you to make his money and not really listening to what you really want.
Right.
And how much you want to spend.
So the objective is that he's going to sell you. Right? Sometimes it's what you want. Sometimes it's what you don't want. Okay? Point is that he's there to make money. Okay? So that's the most abrupt way to explain every single human being on planet Earth. So let me ask you this question. When you walk in the grocery store, what's the purpose of you walking in the grocery store? What does the owner of the grocery store want you to do?
Buy food.
Okay. If you walk into a restaurant, what does the owner of the restaurant want you to do?
Buy food, tip waitress.
What do you want people to do when they call you?
Buy music lessons.
Okay.
Buy houses.
Right? So you understand what I'm saying? So the difference is how subtle is it? The difference is it covert, like the grocery store? Now, if you understood the grocery business, it's actually more dangerous in the grocery store on you being sold than it is the used car dealership. Because at least the guy in the used car dealership is overt. The grocery store has spent millions, the food industry has spent millions of dollars to place cans on shelves, colors, ad sizes, all kinds of
You
things.
should see my new grocery store, the new Stop and Shop. Oh my God, it's beautiful. We can't stand it. Still can't find anything.
Right.
But everything's lit up, and there's as you go through the front, and on your way out, there's the hot chicken's ready to go, and here's some milk, here's some eggs. It's just all lined up, and stuff is in the wrong place. And where's all the organic stuff? Scattered through the whole store, so you have to hunt it down.
Right.
Yeah, just put it on one spot so I can buy it. No, we want you to scour the store, buy more stuff.
So I found a word that we were talking about this morning, and Emma says that I should use a different word, but I'm going to give you this word, and then we'll talk about that later. The word is amalgams. Like amalgamous? Amalgamation.
Yeah.
Right?
Like combining
so
things.
amalgams is to
Yeah.
combine things. It's like
Yeah.
it's actually to blend things.
Yeah.
It usually means precious metals. That's the first definition, but the second definition is to blend things. So I want to label this as my own. This is something new, which I will probably write about. Amalgam offers.
Wow.
And I'm not going to go into great detail about it now. I just want to talk about it because this is very apropos to what we're talking about. So what you need to do is you need to, when I mean an amalgam offer, what I'm talking about is taking the math and the emotion of the person and mixing them and giving them what they want. And we keep talking about the willingness. Well, the willingness is really the emotion. Like what emotion is attached to this house. And there's a scale. There's a scale. Some people are cheerful about selling their house. Some people are bored about it. Some people are mad about it. Some people are like
Afraid
or kind of skeptical, right? Skepticism,
Anxious.
and then so it would go skepticism, and then fear, and then anxious. That would be the order, right? And if you know where they're at, based on the scale, and you know where their emotions are, you can actually almost predict how the person is going to respond to your offer. So you need to take the math and the emotion, and you need to blend them together to make the right offer.
Well put, Mr. Hawthorne.
Yes. So that's what we get paid for. That's what makes me me, is because that amalgamous type of an offer. Am I saying that right? Amalgamous? Am I saying that right?
Well, we're trying to make an adjective. Amalgamatory. We'll make an adjective out of it.
Amalgamous.
The verb, amalgamation is the noun.
Okay.
No, amalgam can be
I
a
don't
noun,
care
too.
about the verbs and the nouns. Amalgamous offer. That's what I'm going to say because I like it.
You're making it descriptive.
Yes. It's an amalgamous offer because you're taking the math and you're taking the emotion and you're giving them what they want. Because the truth of the matter is, if you know anything about sales, anything about advertising, what makes people buy is emotion. They justify it with logic.
But that's the last thing people think of when they get into real estate, because it's not mentioned anywhere. Realtors, the TV shows, it's just, here's a house, here's how much it costs, you do this, you do that, you sell this.
And here's the reason why. Because most people buy houses on equity. Buy low, sell high. Here's your number, and they put the realtor in between, and the realtor doesn't have those skills. So it's like, I'll pay you $80,000 for this $200,000 house. Yes or no?
Yeah.
It's not what I'm talking about.
There's no conversation. There's no why. There's
That
no
is
reason.
that is the lesser of the two markets that you should buy in, because that's usually an ugly house. If you want to buy pretty houses and you want to buy houses with $100 deposit and not dipping into your credit or scouting around in your life to see what kind of a person you are, like they're doing with all these politicians right now about, whether he was in the KKK or had sex with a girl 35 years ago, and that's how you want to buy houses without digging up your history, then you need to buy pretty houses. And when you find the right pretty house, that you don't have to do any work, and you understand what I'm telling you right now, your life will change. Because you could buy a house for real. And the biggest thing that I have to overcome is skepticism, because people don't believe when I say it.
Yep.
And I have to parade around demonstrations and all kinds of ridiculous things to prove to people that I do this every day. It's like I'm being jeered by every one of my listeners. And proof of that is we have almost 900,000 downloads, and we haven't sold that much stuff. Last week I announced for $37 you can buy my Attractive Motivated Sellers. When I originally did that boot camp, I charged them $97 to be in it, and then I upsold. Sorry to say that, but I sold at the end of the day. I sold all the forms, like a shit ton of stuff that was worth $197. So these people paid $300 to be at this event. And I'm selling for $37. Now, we sold some, but not as many as the listeners I have. So why would you not pay $37 to learn how to attract motivated sellers? Because if you knew how to attract motivated sellers, your life would change. Okay? Which is what prompted this podcast. Okay? So let's keep moving. So the question is, what are people willing to pay you for? So in real estate, they're willing to pay us for these things. I listed 9. I'm just going to rattle them off.
Yep.
Okay, I'm not going to explain them.
Yep.
An instant sale.
Sure.
Debt relief. Freedom from the burden of the house. Okay? No commissions, no closing costs. Which, by the way, I want to stop there. So imagine this. Imagine your seller selling a house and paying commissions and closing costs. We say that all the time. It's between 12 and 15%, right?
Right.
Suppose you made 10%. So there was no commissions, no closing costs. Who do you think is making that money?
Which part of the money? The 10 or the...
So if your seller
Yeah.
doesn't have to pay commissions and closing costs, will he sell you the house cheaper?
Yeah.
Okay.
He gets to keep some of the money.
So who gets to make that money then?
You do.
Because when you sell it, you're not going to sell it that way.
Yeah.
So you've convinced the seller that they could reduce the price by $20,000 on a $200,000 house, and then you pay $180,000, which really is technically what he would get anyway. So you're paying full retail for the house.
Sure.
And then you turn around and sell it for $199,000 and do all that work, and you get. So why wouldn't somebody not do this? Why would an investor not think like that? You're not stealing they're going to pay that money anyways. So instead of paying somebody else, they pay you.
Right. You're getting paid for some clever work that you do to help somebody sell the house.
No. I'm not willing to accept that.
What?
It's not clever work.
I don't mean clever in a bad way. I mean it's very knowledgeable.
It's because you have a specific knowledge on how to do it. No different than a realtor, no different than an attorney, no different than a banker, No, all you do is just do it a couple times and you have enough knowledge. You actually, you don't even need knowledge. Knowledge is the wrong word. You need some experience. A little bit of experience to do it. So in the beginning, you need a little bit of guidance to get going. Do 1 or 2 deals and you're off to the races. It is for the rest of your life a way for you to make money. Right? So that's no commissions, no closing costs.
Right.
You do it. You don't need an attorney. You don't need a realtor. You don't need all that stuff. You don't need all that. So you do it for them and get paid. Just that concept alone is how you buy money without any real estate. I mean, buy money without a loan. Right?
Right.
Number 5, don't have to deal with the realtor. Now, I know we're probably going to have some realtors on this line, and they're all pompous, and they think who they are, and I get that. But, Peter, honestly, you tell me the truth. How many houses do we sit in that we got to listen to the story about the realtor? That is not good.
Pretty much all of them.
Almost,
Something
I'd say
happens.
97,
Something
98%.
Yeah.
A vast majority of the people we talk to don't want to deal with a realtor or are trying to find a way not to deal with the realtor. We're it. What's the difference between us and a realtor? Realtors got better marketing. They got a sign on the front of their window. They say they've convinced, they brainwashed the public that they are the only way to sell a house. It's actually a monopoly.
Bill, they're like Kleenex.
That's right. That's exactly right. Or Q-tips.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you want a Kleenex. It's not a Kleenex. Kleenex is the brand name.
Yeah.
It's not a tissue. It's Kleenex. Or Q-tips. It's not a cotton swab. It's a Q-tips. It's a brand name.
Yeah.
Exactly right. That's a valid point. We're going to use that. I'm going to write that in an email.
Make it
Right? Don't have to fix it up. They can sell it as is. Don't have people going through the house. That's a big one. How many houses are we in that they're perfect and clean? Not many. Don't have to worry about the closing date when they need to move.
Sure.
That's one of the things we offer,
Sure.
right? And an easy sale.
Yeah.
So these are things that people are willing to pay us for. So you need to understand that. Okay. So I'm way far off on a tangent here. So let's keep going. So let's say you want to make $100,000 a year, which to me, if you want to make $100,000 a year, I have some very unpolite words for you.
Does it start with slacker?
Stop being an idiot. Yeah, you slacker. Because $100,000 a year is like, are you freaking kidding me? I mean, really? Are you freaking kidding me? The only reason why $100,000 a year is a lot of money to you is because you're swapping hours for money.
Yeah, when you used to work in like so many hours for so many dollars. But the thing is, I learned this years ago. If you want to make money, you either have to have a big fat ass job, or you have to do some kind of sales.
Right.
Whether you sell 1,000 things worth
Or
so
let's
much,
do
or
number
5
3.
things new.
Let's do number 3. I'm cutting you off. Let's do number 3.
What's 3?
Number 3 is you have something that a lot of people want, and they're willing to pay you for it. And if you can do very much like a realtor do, and we do it better because we're more trained and we spend more time. Because how many realtors you know spend $40,000 to go to seminars to learn how to buy and sell houses? They don't. Right? Or they hire a coach for $30,000 so they can learn how to buy and sell houses. They don't. So if you've done that, if you're listening to me, if you're buying courses, then you are probably more than likely more educated than a realtor.
You know what's funny? Even early on, I found myself in a couple of houses doing a presentation to a realtor who owned the house and to a realtor who brought me to meet the other person.
Yep.
Me. And I was still the rookie. I still am. But, it's really early on. And I knew more than them about what we can do and other ways to get around the problems that they were having. It was bizarre.
Yep.
Like, but you're a realtor? Okay. Just do my thing.
Yep.
It's strange. It happens.
Yep. All right. So let's get down to brass tacks.
Yes.
If you want to make $100,000, and I know I talk about this a lot, so how much are you worth an hour? The truth is that if you work a 40-hour week, you're working 1,760 hours a year. 1,760 hours a year, not 2,000. I usually say 2,000. I work more than 2,000 hours a year. I work probably more like 3,000 or 4,000 hours a year. Okay, but that's sometimes I make money, sometimes I don't. Okay, because I always got crazy ideas and I'm always trying something new. Okay, so I work twice as hard as most because I'm always trying something new. So let's say you want to make $100,000. You divide that by 1,760 hours. That's $56.88 an hour you're worth. If you want to make 200 grand, which is a doctor's pay, 250 is a doctor's pay, or 300, right? Divided by 1760 is 1366 an hour. I'm sorry, 113.66 an hour. Mm-hmm. So if you have to constantly like if you're going through your day, right? And you have to constantly wonder all through your day, is what I'm doing worth $56.88 an hour, or is it worth $113.66, depending on which number you want. Mm-hmm. So if you want to make $200,000 an hour, you have to say, right now, am I doing something worth $113.66 per hour? Mm-hmm. But wait a minute, it gets worse than that. Mm-hmm. Because how much time is consumed with commuting?
Everything else.
Doing government paperwork, like your taxes and all that kind of stuff.
Filing
things, right? Mm-hmm. Dealing with vendors or contractors, right? Collecting rents, some of the minutia stuff that has to be done. How much of your time is consumed with that?
Right.
All right. So actually, there's been some studies done with government officials, and they're saying it's about 2/3 of your time is spent doing that. Okay. So let's say 1/3 is productive and 2/3 are all the other things.
Yeah, I've heard that. My son in his corporate kind of job, there's a lot of junk going on and not that much production.
Right. So that means you need to actually multiply the 56.88 or the 113.66 by 3. Because you have to cover the other 2/3.
Yeah, because that isn't productive time.
Right, but you still have to make 200,000. You still got to do that because we're dividing it by 1760. Mm-hmm. The 1,760 hours includes the 2/3 worth of all the stuff you're not doing.
Oh, yeah.
The non-productive time.
Yeah, which you're getting paid for.
Which we're multiplying that in. It's a multiplier, right? Mm-hmm. So now that means your $56.88 just became $170.64 an hour you're worth.
If you're really working.
Productive hour.
Yeah.
Right? Or if you want to make $200,000 a year and at 113.66, now it's worth $340.99. $340.99. Mm-hmm. Okay? So all I'm doing this for is it puts into it's like this puts a meter on time consumption. Okay, so let's say I'm doing something, right, and I answer my phone, and I have a 12-minute conversation with you.
Right.
Okay, so at $170.64, that 12-minute phone call cost me $34.42.
Well, I hope it was worth it talking to me, Bill, yesterday.
Or if I'm doing it was an hour. It was 52 minutes because I looked at it. So
do I send you a bill?
No, I send you a bill because you took my time.
You called me.
So if you're a $200,000 a year guy and you have to make $340.99 an hour, then that 12-minute phone call cost you $68.20.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, by doing this, okay, it makes you think in terms of this. This is how I think, which it's taken me a long time to figure this out. So it's either, is it an investment or is it an expense?
Which part of it?
So when we're looking at time,
yeah,
if I'm doing something right now, is this an investment?
Yeah.
Or is this an expense?
Well, I think the productive
towards the $200,000 a year.
Yeah. Well, the productive time is the investment. The wasted time is the expense.
That's right.
Yeah.
So when you're looking at it, you have to say to yourself,
and that's what bothers me. When I go through my day, there's parts of what I do that really annoy me because it's the crappy stuff that just wasted my time. Gluing something that came apart this morning. Seriously. And just.
So is that an investment?
No, that's the
or
stuff,
is that an expense?
That's an expense. You're not making money doing that. It's just something glaring into. Oh, Jesus! But the really nitty gritty stuff, you don't mind as much because you're doing something productive. But there's a lot of that time that you're doing the dumb stuff.
Right.
Oh, I gotta go put some air in my tire.
Right. Yesterday I had to have my oil changed and my car cleaned.
Yeah.
I mean, could I send Emma to go do that? Absolutely. Right? She would too. Right? So it helps you quantify what you're doing in life when you do this. Okay? And when we go through the 17 things in about 2 minutes, it's going to make you look at how much are they costing me. Like if a 12-minute phone call costs you $60-something, how much is this stuff costing you?
Right.
Right? Or even better, when you go to charge somebody for your time, how much should you charge an hour? Right? Sure. So I want to keep this on the top of your mind when I'm going through. So am I being clear? I'm not being like out in left field, right?
It's out there.
Okay.
But I'm tracking.
Okay. So when we go through this, because what's the only reason why somebody wants to flip houses? The only reason.
They want money.
They want money. And what are they going to do with the money? That's where all the emotion comes in. I want to have freedom. I want to spend more time with my family. I want to use it for charity work. I want to pay off college loans. I want to eliminate my credit card debt. I want to own my house free and clear so I have security, know that I'm never going to have to get kicked out. I mean, there's a whole list of emotional things.
Sure.
But at the end of the day, we need to make money. So we have to talk about how are you going to make the money? How much is it per hour that you need to make $200,000 a year? Realistically. Then we're going to get into the 17 reasons why you don't have time, because if you had the time and you were doing the things we're talking about, then you would have the money. So the real issue is, what are you doing with your time and why aren't you doing it? So here we go. You ready?
Yep.
Number one.
Go for it.
Lack of clear goals and direction. Right? So how can you actually link things to, is it an investment or is it a liability or an expense? If it's not attached to the goal. If it's not attached to the goal, then how do you know it's one or the other?
Sure.
Right? My goal is to make $200,000 this year. Right? And you have to have a direction. Which, by the way, if you make that goal, that's a suck-ass goal. Because it's more like, I want to donate $100,000 to the church. I need $78,000 to live, and I want to put the rest in a savings account for my kid. That's more like a goal. It's specific.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, well, $200,000 for what?
Yeah.
Just because? No.
Yeah. And if it's vague, it's not going to happen. And we could do a whole show just on goals, but I will tell you this. All you have to do is read the book Rich and Grow, Think and Grow Rich from Napoleon Hill. Just read that book. And it does. I'll tell you another one to read. I haven't read this book in a while, and it just popped in my head. You want to read a really good book? Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Malt.
I think I heard about it years ago.
Check that, Em. Could you check that? Psycho-Cybernetics. I think it's Maxwell Malt.
Jeez, that sounds fancy.
Read that book. Wow. That book talks about subconscious minds, and it talks about all kinds of cool shit. Wow. That is an amazing book. Is that what it is? Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Malt? Yeah. Emma will put a link in the Facebook chat. Right? Thank you. Okay, number 2. Okay? Which, by the way, that's goals. Oh, I was going off with the Maxwell Malt thing. When you read those 2 books, or you read anything, if you know anything about goals, here's what you should figure out. Which, by the way, when I talk about all this stuff, I'm not asking anybody to believe me anymore. I'm done with that. I made that decision a couple weeks ago. I'm not here to convince anybody of crap. I'm done with that. I'm done trying to trick you or convince you that you need to buy and sell real estate. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share my experiences. You go test them out. If they work, then you keep following. If they don't, get the hell away from me. Doesn't mean that I did something wrong. Probably meant that you misunderstood it and did something wrong or didn't have enough training. It's usually what it is because it works for me, has worked for me for 15 years. Yeah. I bought hundreds of houses with it. Do I make mistakes? Absolutely. But I do more things right than wrong. Mm-hmm. So you need to listen to that. But anyways, so if you follow along our experiences, then you too can do the same thing and prove it to yourself. So you go to flippinghousesforrookies.com/free stuff. There's a crap load of stuff there. Go check it out. Listen to our podcast. Go check out the free stuff. And if you believe what I'm telling you, you'll keep continuing.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't...
Well, that's the way anything's supposed to be.
Yeah.
You know, in today's society, especially the young ones, they don't believe anybody. And you shouldn't.
Right.
But neither should you disbelieve everybody.
Right.
Just go find out.
So I've demonstrated plenty on that page what you can do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But anyways, I keep sidetracking. So the goal. The only way a goal works is you have a very clear picture in your mind of what you want. And you believe it. You don't put those two things together, it won't happen. You have to have a clear picture of you on the beach, looking at some girl or some guy, having a beer, smoking a cigar, whatever it is. Actually put yourself there. They call that affirmations. So actually put yourself there before it happens, but the picture is so clear. You have colors, you have smell, you have sensation, you have sexual feelings, you have hates, you have disgust, you have whatever. All these emotions are in that picture. And that is how you get a goal. And you actually, truly, tenaciously, without doubt, without any
Reservation.
I was going to say evocable. But that's not the right word.
Revocable?
No, irrevocable ideas.
Yeah.
Okay. My point is that you believe in it so much that every Tom, Dick, and Harry can come along and say, no way. And you're like, yes way. And you repel everything. And when you believe your goal and you believe that picture that you're looking at so well, that everything in your life aligns to it, whether you want it to or not, the universe, the physical universe, will start handing you gifts to attain your goal. It's just, and I only know this because I've done it.
Well, you read these books you talk about, Think and Grow Rich. It's not about being rich.
No.
First word is think.
Yeah.
And grow.
Yeah.
Rich.
Yeah.
It's about growth.
Yeah.
It's about thinking. It's not materialistic as you would think.
Right.
Because people in those days were just as we are, a little stupid, a little smart, a little crazy, a little sane. But they had really good goals as people.
So the truth of the matter is that we've been on planet Earth for quite a while, and there's been a lot of men and women before us. There isn't a single problem or a single thought or a single thing that we haven't solved before or somebody hasn't solved before us. Somebody's already done it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe even you.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's already done it. So what you need to do is go figure out who did it. So what I'm saying is the reason why I read is because I get those opinions and those viewpoints and those examples of things that I might be trying to solve today. Like Think and Grow Rich was written in the early 1900s. That was 100 years ago. People don't remember that stuff. But because you wrote it down, it lasted. So all it does is just change my way of thinking. It gives me a different point of view on a problem that I had, that he also had, and we can compare notes. That's why I read, is to get other points of view.
And no, that's how education works.
Yep.
If you try to learn everything by yourself, you're not going to make it.
Right.
There's not enough experience, life, and time, and energy and courage to learn enough. So
Right.
some other guy spent a whole life learning something. You can read it in a few days. Learn it from him.
Yep.
Save yourself a lot of aggravation.
Exactly.
And you'll know it's true. Just read it. You'll say what makes sense makes sense.
Yep.
Then take advantage of it.
Exactly.
That's how blues musicians do it. They just steal from each other.
Yep.
That's how musicians, you just steal and rob. Classical composers. I mean, it's just part of life.
Yep.
Share, help each other.
All right. So number one, lack of clear goals and directions. Number two, ready for this, Peter?
Yeah.
I'm not promising that I'm being polite today.
What else is new? Just keep reading, Mr.
Number
Hawthorne.
2, low need for achievement. Low need for achievement.
Yeah.
Don't need it enough.
Yeah.
Like, let me give you a classic example. We have a guy that has a job, and he has a desire to flip houses to replace his job. Oh, isn't that nice and sweet and nicey-nicey? Just go put your dress on and lick your lollipop, because that's how I feel about it. Okay? But if you lost your job,
Yeah.
and next month you needed to pay your bills, and you needed to do it from flipping a house, would you pay attention?
Mm-hmm.
Would it be a little different?
Oh, yeah.
Necessity level would be different?
It'd be a little too serious, perhaps, but yeah, you'd be on the ball.
Get it?
Sure.
That's what I'm talking about.
Sure.
So need for achievement don't need it enough.
Unfortunately, I understand that one.
Yeah. 3, negative beliefs, consciously or subconsciously. They sneak in. I'll tell you, oh, you can buy a house for $100 deposit, and immediately you're coming up with a list of reasons why it can't be done.
Yeah, starting with yourself. I would never do that.
Yeah. You ever notice that it is so much easier for you to come up with all the reasons why you can't do something than the list of the reasons why? It's just the way our human mind works.
Yeah, I think the negatives just come in on automatic, and the other ones you have to work for.
Right. It's your subconscious mind
Yeah.
working against you. It thinks it's protecting you.
Mm-hmm.
It thinks that you're going into a dangerous environment. I better warn him. Warning, warning, warning. What was that?
Warning,
Lost in
Will
Space.
Rogers.
Yeah, Lost in Space.
Warning, Will.
Yes.
Warning, warning.
Exactly.
Sure.
Right? So negative beliefs. You have to have, and I'm telling you, Peter, I'm going to make a statement right now that don't take it lightly. And this is my experience. You have to have the ability to control your own mental image pictures. And not a lot of people have that. A lot of people, most people don't even realize they have mental image pictures. They don't even know that that's what's controlling them. And that's where Think and Grow Rich comes in, because it's think. What are you thinking about? Because what you put your attention on is what solidifies. Where your attention goes, results show. Right? Actually, where your attention goes, energies flow, results show.
Yeah.
That's my saying.
Yeah.
Right? So if you're thinking, I have to pay my bills, I got to get rid of my debt, I got to handle my debt, I got to get rid of my debt, what are you going to get more of?
Oh, yeah. You'll have the debt.
What you got to put your attention on is, how can I make more money, and take your attention off of the debt. Those are negative beliefs.
Yeah. Anytime you're stuck with a problem, if you just get off your butt and start just pounding at it, you'll feel better. Just like, I got to do this. Okay, do one. Bang, bang, bang. And you start feeling better because you're beating it.
Definition of scarcity, in my mind, is not looking enough.
Yeah.
So when somebody has a scarcity of money, they're not just looking enough. Their beliefs are holding them back. They're not getting out there and seeing what else could be done.
Yeah. I mean, when you have a problem, the answer isn't just sitting there.
Yep.
I mean, I've asked people, so what should we do about that? I don't know.
Right.
Wait a minute. What should we do about that? I don't know. Stop with the I don't know. Think.
Get outside of the box.
Yeah, and you've said something real interesting, that you come up with a solution to this problem, another solution, but it's till about the 7th or 8th one that it turns out to be good. That's a little scary, because I don't know if I wait that long. Like, I might take the first couple, but that's just something that's food for thought for me.
Yep.
But it takes, well, how else could we solve it? How else could we solve it? What else could you do? What else could you do? And then you pick the best one. But you have to ask yourself,
Make
or
a
have somebody
list.
ask you.
Make a list.
Yeah.
Good. All right. So, number 4, self-doubt and low esteem.
Ooh.
So what's self-doubt?
Well, not believing in yourself. I always tell people, if they don't believe in something, forget the something. You're not believing in yourself.
Right.
Well, what if he convinces me? Well, then you don't believe in yourself. What if he tricks me? Then you don't believe in yourself. What if he's conning me? Then you don't believe in yourself.
Right.
Strong enough to say
So going
no.
into the used car guy and having him manipulate you to buy a car that you don't want just means you have a lack of education, or you don't trust yourself.
Yeah, just say no and just make the scene go the way you want.
Which, by the way, if somebody doesn't understand something, what do they say?
If they don't understand something?
Yeah. Do they say yes or they say no?
Oh, no. If you don't understand something, you can't do it. You just have to walk away.
Yeah.
It could be good, could be bad, but if you don't understand, it has to be a
So
negative.
if you're going to make a presentation and somebody doesn't understand your presentation, what's going to happen?
It's going to be no.
So
they can't say yes to something they don't get.
So if somebody's going to pay you money, what do they have to do?
They've got to understand you.
Yeah.
You have to understand your presentation, what you're doing,
Why you're doing it, how it
them,
helps them, what's in it for them.
Watch them go, oh, yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Instead of that stare, that blank stare.
Exactly. Okay, we're doing good on time. So number 5. I love this list. Absolutely love this list. Inability to say no to others and end up doing too many favors.
Oh.
This was mine for a long time.
Yeah.
I wanted to be noticed as a nice guy. So I would say yes to everything. Next thing you know, I'm doing favors for you or for the church or for my daughter or for my sister, and that's the 2/3 time that we were talking about. I spend more time doing that and less time doing the production that I need to do to make the $340 an hour.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, my number's higher than that. Mm-hmm. So if you're going to do inventory of your time, is it an investment or is it an expense? Mm-hmm. And being nice to the people. Now, I'm not telling you not to be nice. I'm just telling you to control when you want to do it.
Right.
Don't do it in your highest production time.
Well, you have a ratio right now. Like you're saying 1/3 is like productive, 2/3 is not very productive. It's all that stuff. It can't be zero, that other stuff. It has to be some, because that's life.
Right.
Do we have a number?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, I just had a thought, but I lost it. So I'm going to keep moving. So number 6, you think your health is holding you back.
Really?
Mm-hmm. You think your health is holding you back. There's nothing else to say about that. Going to the doctors, you're not feeling good. You know, you want to do a test?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to prove, and I told you, don't believe anything I'm saying. Test it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So do a survey in your own life. Pick 4 or 5 people and ask them this question. I'm going to ask you the question. I want you to answer the question. Peter, out of a 30-day month, how many days do you think you feel really good, like you're on top of the world?
I'm up to once a week.
So it's 4 times a month.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to find that most people will answer you between 3 and 7 days.
Mm-hmm.
There's 30 days in a month.
I've tried that. I've asked. It comes out once in a while. Somebody says, "Oh, almost all the time," but they're a little bit airhead. Sorry.
They're euphoric.
Yeah,
Euphoric
they're not
means
doing anything. They're not doing anything. They just go through the motions. No responsibilities. They don't try anything difficult. They just don't. They don't solve any problems. They just leave them.
Euphoric means you have problems and you're ignoring them and don't know they're there.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they're euphoric. But isn't it weird? You ask somebody out of 30 days in a month, how many days of the month do you feel really good and feel like you're on top of things? Mm-hmm. And I've never heard more than 10 for real answers.
Yep. It's sad.
So why would I put that in there? You think your health is holding you back.
Well,
because you don't feel good.
No, when you have like a bad day or you're not feeling happy, you're not in a frame of mind or mood to take on more crap or just deal with something that's difficult. But how else can you get out of it?
So I have a bizarre observation for you that's completely not real estate related.
Mm-hmm.
I've been working on this. I realized that when I sleep good at night, in other words, the environments, like what made me think about this is I bought a humidifier for my room because we live in New England and it's been cold.
Yeah, and dry.
And I have forced hot air in my house, which I want to get rid of.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I have forced hot air in my house. So it's like in the wintertime, I don't sleep as well. My sinuses, all that kind of stuff, right? Like a sleep apnea type of a thing. Sure. I don't have it. I'm just saying that the environment is creating that.
Yeah.
Right? Wake up with a sore throat, that kind of stuff. Don't sleep all night. Wake up 2 or 3 times in the middle of the night, right? Here's what I notice. When I don't sleep well at night, I eat more during the day. When I eat more during the day, my body has trouble digesting it, and I don't sleep well at night.
Oh, boy. So you're eating more for the energy that you're missing from the sleep?
I guess.
Yeah.
I'm not going to scientific. I've just noticed that observation.
Yeah, that's my guess.
But when I sleep well at night and I wake up and I actually work on how am I going to sleep, when I actually sleep well at night and I wake up in the morning rested, my days are much more productive.
Yeah.
And I eat better food. I have more energy. So that's why I put, you think your health is holding you back. Or you don't know it.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Moving on.
Make a note. Get a humidifier.
Well, how about your health? You worried about your health?
Sure.
Okay. Does it hold you back?
A little bit. I try to push through, but yeah.
I bet you it's more than what you're willing to admit.
Well, I can't admit it. I have to fight through it.
Right.
You can't just I got to sit down. Can't. Right. I bought a humidifier for my guitar lesson room because I want my guitars not to dry up because they will.
Yep.
And I should get one for my room probably.
Right. All right. Number seven.
Is
your environment is too noisy and distracting.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, hell yeah.
This should really be number one.
It could be.
Because that's a majority.
You wouldn't get to the
majority of why people don't do real estate.
You wouldn't get to the next 16 if you put that first.
So I want you to do another observation skill.
Okay.
Not a skill. Another observation study.
Yeah.
At any given moment, if you have more than 3 people around you or 5 people around you, take note at how many of them are paying attention to their phone.
Oh, geez.
Their cell phone.
That's gross.
I mean, I'm a proponent. This tells you exactly my personality. 100%. 100%. This tells you exactly who Bill Hawthorne is. I freaking love the show Last Man Standing. It's one of the only TV, that and the 70s shows are the 2 TV shows I watch continuously. Shows you where my humor is, shows you where my head is at, and it will make you think things that are probably not true of me, but that's what I like. And he did a show the other night where the children, the 3 girls, were visiting one another, not talking to one another, but texting. One sitting on the couch, one sitting over here, one sitting all in the same room, and they're texting one another. Not even having a conversation.
Yep.
It's a noisy environment.
Well, I love going to a restaurant, and I'm an adult, and I look over. There's another older couple, and they're texting. They're just staring at the phone. So I look at my wife. Put the phone away. Put the phone away. Talk to me.
Yeah.
No, we're at dinner. We're talking.
Right.
We're making plans for the future. Something. What color do you like? I don't care. But put the damn phone away.
That's just one example of the noisy environment that you live in.
Yeah.
You have a kid. You have drama in your family. Your sisters are fighting. Your car breaks down. How about this one?
Mm-hmm.
This irks me, and this is a weird thing. I get up in the morning. I got to go to a meetup. I got to be there for 7 o'clock. I leave at 7:15, knowing I'm a few minutes late, 5 or 10 minutes late, because I'm not going to make it by 7. I get up on the highway, and I sit in traffic for 45 minutes, almost an hour. Actually, it was like 55 minutes. Because a person driving their 3,000-pound car was not paying attention or came what I call out of present time and smashed their car. Because they were not observing their environment. Their environment was too noisy and had distractions in it and caused them to have an accident. They were the cause for the accident. I don't care if somebody hit them or not. The point is, how many people did that affect?
Sure.
How many people on that highway? I mean, I sat in traffic for almost an hour. How many people did that affect by that person not taking care of their environment or being cause or control over their environment? How many people did that affect?
Oh, everybody behind them. Rows and rows. It's on the news.
Right?
Traffic jam here.
How many times a day does stuff like that happen? Planes are late. Trains are late. Cars, taxis don't show up on time. I mean, noisy environment. It snows. You got 12 inches of snow. Noisy environment. And I'm not saying that you can control everything. I'm not being control.
It's not going away.
The point is how do you handle it?
Yeah.
What's plan B? How tenacious are you with your goals that you're going to push through that snowstorm and get there anyways? Or drive around that traffic jam and get there anyways?
Yeah.
How tenacious are you? Because that's when the rubber meets the road. That's when your goals really mean something.
I was going to say, that's when number 1 kicks in.
Is do you work around it? Do you recognize it as noise and you work around it? Okay? All right, let me see here. That was number 7. Number 8, attitude.
Young man, you have a very bad attitude.
Not very good, or better yet, not optimistic enough. What does optimistic mean?
It's when you're just positive about the things that are stopping you. Like you just make it happen anyways. You see how it can happen instead of how it can't happen. I know it might not happen, but just take a look at how it can maybe.
The metaphor for that is the glass half empty or glass half full?
Mm-hmm.
So which one are you? Because I told you before that you're going to find more problems than solutions.
Mm.
Number 9, procrastination.
Can we do that later?
Which is usually overwhelming fear or failure. They're afraid to fail.
Mm-hmm.
They can't have failure. That's procrastination. So you're trying to figure out every angle and every possible way that it would be and should be and couldn't be until you're so safe that you'll do it.
You've got a goalie mask on. You've got a catcher's chest protector. You got
just no way to get hurt. That's what
big
procrastination
mitts.
is. That's procrastination, right? Yeah. Number 10. And this one I run into, this is a little bit weird, but it's one that I run into a lot. You need to have before you can do.
Yeah.
For example, I need to have money before I can invest in real estate.
Mm-hmm.
So you never do it because it's a lie. It's not true.
What's backwards?
I need to understand how to make every offer to every customer before I go make an offer. I need to study how to make offers before I talk to a customer. I need to do training on how to buy and sell real estate so I don't sound like a fool in a house. You know what all that means? That means to me that you do not know the most important part of real estate. The most important law of success, not only just in real estate, is you don't have a scarcity mentality on how to get leads, people to talk to. Because if you have enough people to talk to, you have enough sellers calling you, you will figure it out. So if you're afraid of real estate, or you don't know what to do about real estate, or you need to learn how to get on the phone with my script, a for sale by owner, go on Zillow and find 10 of them in your area and use the script and call 10 people, and next thing you know, you'll have the experience I have and you'll have an appointment. Go out and screw the appointment up, and then at least you'll know what to learn.
Mm-hmm. Just
go do something. And that'll do it.
Mm-hmm.
All right? So you don't have to have anything before you do. In fact, I shouldn't say that. What you have to have is the willingness or the ability to just go do it.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have the balls to just go do it. Just get in action.
Yeah. Well, you can't start perfect.
No. And I can't teach you to be perfect, so you start that way.
Mm-hmm.
Right? All right, number 11. I haven't read these in like a week. And I'm just like, every one I read, I'm like, wow, that's a good one. Number 11. Everything is important. You don't evaluate what gets results. You're just thinking that every datum is important. You're not measuring it up against results. If you don't have number 1, you don't have clear goals, and you don't do like what we just did where you evaluate your time, what it's worth, is this an investment or is this an expense, you're going to think that every piece of information you run into is valuable. And you're going to try to remember all of them, and sooner or later you're going to burn out because there's just too much, and you're trying to memorize everything, which you can't do, and you're not evaluating what's important, what's not.
Yeah, I see that. I as an educator, I blame school for that. Sorry, but I do, because they teach you everything and they test on anything, and they don't focus on what's important in any subject. The test could be anything.
Right.
The smallest detail, the most insignificant, unimportant information. So people walk around frantic.
Right.
So you have to really focus on the important parts of anything you're learning.
Right. That's exactly right.
It's people just. They can't learn because they've been taught to try to remember and learn everything, and it's not the way life goes. You study whatever there is and just focus on the important factors that get you something done.
Right.
The other stuff doesn't matter.
So a word for me that's synonymous to education is parable.
Mm-hmm.
So parable is when you tell a story that has a meaning to it.
Right.
Thus the Bible. Why do you think the Bible lasted 2,000 years?
I love them stories.
Because they're parables. They're stories of human beings like me and you that had an experience and they're sharing it.
Mm-hmm. What
That's
they
how you
did wrong
educate.
and what they should have done right.
That's an education.
Yeah.
There's an experience there, and it's how you remember things as a human being. That's how the mind works, as you remember the stories. Right? Okay. So, number 12, stress. Stress.
What's that?
That eats up time.
What's stress? I don't see no stress.
So, what is the definition of stress? To me, the definition of stress is too many unsolved problems, and you worry about solving that problem too much. And it clouds your thinking because you're thinking of the problem, not the solution. So, stress is too many unsolved problems. Okay? So, we've already talked about that. You got to think outside of the box. You got to get some opinion. And when I mean opinions, read some books, get some information, whatever. Just go experiment on how you could solve that problem.
Ask your mastermind team.
Yeah. As I was telling you before, so I got a problem with the tax man. He's going to come collect my taxes. Okay, well, what's he going to do? He's going to attach my house and take my bank account, right? Well, I'm being facetious, right? Like the worst case scenario. So you have to think to yourself, is that so bad? I mean, what's that going to really do to me? What would have to happen? And once you come to terms with, okay, well, I don't have that much money. I don't have that much equity in my house. And I don't have that much money in my bank account. And I can go live with my sister. All of a sudden, it takes the emergency off. So I ask myself, what's the worst that can happen? And you make a list of the worst things that can happen. And when you start confronting those things, all of a sudden the problem will melt away. So you ask yourself, what's the worst that can happen, and make a list. And it changes. You'll start looking at things, and the whole thing will start to melt away. Okay? Number 13, not result oriented. And I put after that, thinks by the hour is important or valuable.
Is that like the person that sits and goes through the motions and does some work and doesn't really get the important stuff done, just shuffling?
So, if I were to make an offer on a house to you, and I were to tell you, I could buy your house today, right now, for this much money, and it's close enough to what you want. Or, hang on, I gotta sneeze. I'm a realtor, and I could say, I'm going to go find your buyer. What's the difference between those two?
One, you sell your house today. One, you don't know if you're going to.
One is a result, and the other one is, I'm going to go do some work for you.
Yeah, because the result they want is, I want the house sold.
So if you think in results, because I got news for you, you're only getting paid for a completed result.
Right.
Somebody's only going to give you money for a result that they want or like, and consider it to be valuable.
Yep.
That's it. So if you think in results instead of the amount of work you have to do, like, for example, I could have a coaching client pay me $2,500 a day, and the first 5 minutes, he can get his money back. Because I'll say, all you got to do is blah, blah, blah. Is he really paying for the 8 hours, or is he paying for my knowledge?
No, it's the result you get.
Right.
When I work with you in a house deal, I know I could go do it myself, and maybe I just do it myself and keep all the money. But if I have you go in there, you're going to get the house at a far better rate and at more profit, and we both wind up better. Right. So I don't know if I'll ever catch up to you, but the result is better with you.
Right.
So I kind of go that way.
Yep. Good. Number 14, multitask instead of doing what you're doing while you're doing it.
Oh.
I don't believe in multitasking. Multitasking is a disbursement of thinking. Do what you're doing. Give it all of your attention. Give it everything you got and get a good result. And when you do that, it'll be a better result and it'll be quicker. Don't be writing an email and thinking about your cell phone.
Mm-hmm. While you're cooking.
While you're cooking, right. So just don't multitask. Do a lot of tasks in a day, but do them one at a time. 15. Routine is more important than getting the desired result from work. So people believe that their routines and how you do things, and the reason why I wrote this is because with my coaching clients, they think when they make an offer that the routine of the presentation pack is more important than the actual offer. So the routine of this is how I'm supposed to do it gets in the way. Instead of just being there, because how many times have I told you, sometimes you go into the offer, into a house, and if we got to cover 10 things, the seller might be on number 8.
Right.
So if we're going to go through 1 through 7, we don't have their interest. So when we get to number 8, they're going to miss it because they're like bored and
they stop listening.
They stop listening at 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
that was a good lesson because here's your sequence, what you're supposed to do, but the person jumps around. You go with them.
Right.
If they're there, I mean, you're there for them. You go with them. Then you go back to where you should be, and by the time you're done, you've filled all the boxes. It's a little bit like a puzzle.
Right.
The sequence isn't always deadly important.
Right.
But you want to get all the pieces filled in.
Right. So don't let routine get in your way.
All right. If the guy's working on the corner pieces, work on the corner pieces.
Right.
I made a little story there, Bill.
Yeah, I got it. So routine. What's senior to routine is results. So if you have a result, this is like in sales, right? So when you're like the used car guy, if he could sell you a car in 5 minutes, why is he going to go through the process that he normally goes through with 99% of the other people? You come in and say, here's my $15,000, I want that car.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't need to go through the sales process.
Would a bad one do it, though?
Yeah. That's why it's here. These are time wasters. These are things that are killing. So you spend an hour and a half with that guy, and you lose him as you talk past the close.
Yeah, you're closing past the close. Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So how many things can you do in the course of a day quicker without the routine?
Well, the routine only stands to facilitate the result.
Yeah.
The goal isn't the routine. The goal is the result. And the routine is to make the result happen. So use it as a tool.
Okay.
It's almost like you go to the hardware store because you want to drill.
So let me ask you something. If you were to cook the same lunch every single day, the same exact lunch, is it fair to say that when you cook it the first time, you might have to figure it out?
Sure.
Okay. If you do it after a week, is it going to be a lot better?
Sure.
After a year, what's going to happen?
You get bored with it.
You're going to be so good at cooking that lunch that you're actually going to find some shortcuts. You're going to have like the inside information.
Oh.
Because it's like, well, I don't have to boil the rice. I found that I could do this instead, and I can save 3 or 8 minutes or 10 minutes. And you'll get better at it. Mm-hmm. The same exact thing's going to happen to you when you're doing offers. You do your first one, you're going to fumble around. It's going to take you 2 hours. And after a while, next thing you know, you could do it in like 20 minutes. Because you know what to say, you know how to say it, and you know what results count. So when you go into the house, do you need to do a 2-hour presentation or a 20-minute presentation?
Sure.
Right? 16, security. That wastes a lot of time. Feel safe with what is known instead of something new.
Oh, sure.
So you're spending too much time feeling safe instead of just going and get it. Okay?
Yeah.
And then last but not least, thinks it can't be done. When really it's non-agreement with the idea. So when you say it can't be done, it's not that. It's really you don't have an agreement that it could be. I need to raise $10 million by March 13th. to build my new church.
Mm-hmm.
Think it can't be done.
Mm.
So you don't believe it will. Right?
Sure.
So can't be done is a disease of really, I don't agree with it.
Mm.
Subject to is like that all the time.
Yeah.
People think, oh, why would somebody give me a deed and leave the mortgage in their name? I would never do that. Can't be done. So they'll tell you all the reasons why they can't do that deal. All the reasons, all the prospects that they'll like waste. Right?
Sure.
Am I too deep?
No, not that one. That's no. Well, that kind of catches a lot though.
Yeah.
That just wipes out that whole batch of people.
Right.
So, like, what are you doing here then?
Okay. So I think I went way far into the profound pool today. Some people will completely enjoy this. Some people won't listen till the end.
It's real though.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, unfortunately, those are really very real.
Yeah, they're time wasters.
Uh-huh.
And if you have these things going on in your life, you're not going to be making your $340 an hour. And that's that.
Mm.
There's nothing more to it. Go to flippinghousesforrookies.com. Please leave us a review, whether you like this show or not, or other shows, or if you don't like it, or if you have suggestions, send them to flippinghousesforrookies.com/support. And I will respond to them. If you have some topics or some subjects you would like us to talk about on the podcast, I'm open to talking about them. I've gotten a lot of podcasts that way. So if you have an idea or you think that you would like to ask a question, go to flippinghousesforrookies.com/support. See you next week.
Thanks for tuning in to the hottest real estate topics on the planet with Bill and Pete. If you want to continue learning how to buy and sell real estate without money or credit, head over to flippinghouses.club for some cutting-edge real estate wealth tools. Or contact us at info@flippinghouses.club.